Show me.
Hello everyone, Martial Arts Film Freak here. We are 2 days removed from the Bruce Lee 30 for 30 called Be Water. It is Tuesday now. It's already hot in the car. I'm probably going to open the door. Sorry if you get some excess noise, because the door's open, but it's cold. It's cold. It's hot. I'm having a stroke. Yes, we are 2 days removed from the Be Water 30 for 30 on Bruce Lee. And I just wanted to share some thoughts, because I had, I guess, just a couple thoughts on the whole thing. It was fairly enjoyable. A lot of it was information that we already knew, but I don't think it was trying to show anything that, was mind-blowing. It was interesting to I sort of see and hear some new things that we haven't seen or heard before. At least I haven't. There was an interview that sounded like an old phone interview in which Bruce Lee kept, spelling things out for the interviewer. Like, one of the questions was, did you study under any, famous masters? And he just, had to spell out for the guy Y-I-P-M-A-N and told him that he trained in Wing Chun, which he also had to spell out Wing Chun. There were some people being interviewed that was really cool to see. Of course, his family. There was his brother, Robert Lee, which I always forget that he had a brother. They interviewed, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Diana Inosanto, just a whole huge mess of people. It was also interesting to see footage from his burial, or his pictures and everything. And it's not, there's some sadness there, of course, because it's his burial. But, it's interesting to see people like Dan Inosanto, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Steve McQueen, Chuck Norris, just, all these people, and there's so many more, all these people in this room. It's such a huge and diverse group that, it's insane that one person could bring so many people like that together. I enjoyed how they brought up that, when he was in the 60s, doing his thing, starting his family, just getting into, Green Hornet, they brought up how, it was at the same time in the 60s that a lot of, civil rights stuff was really still going down, and it's you never really think of two things going down in history at the same time. You always just think of one or the other. And I mean, one is much more important than the other, but it's just cool to think they're both happening at the same time. But I think what actually, sort of impacted me most during the 30 for 30 was, they brought up how during filming of Way of the Dragon, Chuck Norris was not some cartoony villain. Chuck Norris was just a human being, and that's important, I think, for a reason. Bruce Lee, of course, directed Way of the Dragon. It is the first of the movies that he did over in Hong Kong that he actually did get to direct. And he had seen how Hollywood and a lot of American cinema, show business, had portrayed Asian people and other minorities, really, in cinema. He'd seen just nothing but negative representation. And so he decided that he was not going to participate in that. He was not going to contribute to such a negative process. He decided that he wasn't going to make Chuck Norris a just deplorable white villain, which a lot of Chinese movies still do to this day. Ip Man 2, Wolf Warrior, so many other movies. Just the white character is always just the devil in human form. Chuck Norris's character thought he was better than Bruce Lee and a lot of the other characters simply because he thought he was an amazing fighter. And I'd say the same goes for Wang Ying-sik, as I think he's I don't know if he is Japanese, but he is playing the Japanese karate fighter. Some of you know that my major I graduated, sociology. And in a lot of our classes, we would, on many levels, talk about racism. And something that I've always believed and I've always pushed is that the media is extremely damaging to our society. And that's coming from somebody who loves media. I watch movies all the time. I love TV. I read comic books. I listen to music. I love media. But, and this is something that someone actually says in the 30 for 30, Hollywood is racist because America is racist. And Hollywood cranks out movies that have this representation that is so incredibly damaging and hurtful that once that gets into society and people then go with that as their belief system. and it's just a cruel, vicious cycle. They write and cast characters based on negative stereotypes. Hispanics are gangbangers and whatever, and black people are drug dealers and criminals. And now, we're not seeing as much of that, but I can definitely think of 1,000 movies growing up watching that I definitely saw the same stereotype probably being played by the same 2 or 3 actors. But I just never noticed the fact that Bruce Lee took notice of this and decided, no, I will not reinforce this idea. Like, he pretty much just kind of said man is good or man is evil because they chose to be. It wasn't inspired by the color of their skin, whatever. People are good and people are bad of different ilks, different walks of life. There is bad and there is good everywhere. Chuck Norris not being a cartoon character is a small, minute detail that has zero effect on that movie, and yet says so much, has such huge significance. And people weren't doing that at the time, and a lot of people still aren't doing it now. Movies from all over the world, China's still doing that, America is still doing that to a lesser degree than they were, but they are. That was kind of my main big takeaway from the 30 for 30. Like I said, a lot of it was knowledge we already knew. I think, yeah, that's a weird statement to say, knowledge we already knew. But yeah, it was about, him moving to America, going to school, starting a family, opening Wing Chun schools, starting his career in acting. And, there was some interesting stuff in there that, like, I think they just said that, like, we all know that the story of the hairdresser who was at his show, and apparently, like, someone just called Linda and was like, we like Bruce and would like him to come in for an audition. And that just leads to the, like, audition tape that we've all seen 1,000 times. I didn't know that. That just the idea of the phone call is really cool. But for the most part, it was stuff that we already knew. It was just some small details that really made it sort of enjoyable and, made you think a lot. But I did enjoy the 30 for 30. And in the past few weeks, a lot of people have, from the protests and everything going on in the U.S., a lot of people have felt the need to post Bruce Lee's quote about being one family. And I don't know if we're quite in the position to talk about something like that yet. He is right. We are one family. We are the same species. We are human beings, and we need to work together as such. But a lot of people aren't quite ready to grasp that concept. There is a struggle that is very, very real, going on every day, and it's not new. It's been going on for over a century. The U.S. is pictured and idealized as a melting pot for everyone in the American dream, and that promise has not been kept. Black people in this country are mistreated, isn't the proper word. Like, in some cases they're killed. In a lot of cases they're killed. They are punished for nothing and next to nothing. They're just the smallest little mistakes that every human being makes, and one marginalized group is getting punished for. Together as a people, as a nation, as United States citizens, we have to work hard. We have to fight to obtain, and we shouldn't have to obtain it, but we do. We have to obtain proper treatment of black people in the United States. We have to fight for proper treatment by the police, by housing, by education, job markets. Everything has backed them into a corner, and people are tired of it. I've been tired of it. One thing that I learned a lot as a sociology major was that sociology class is made to make you cry and see the horrors of the world. So many days in class was just going over the realities, the true statistics, and anecdotes to back it up, like, of just so many different things in society. And I was tired of it before class. I was tired of it after class. I'm tired of it after I've graduated. Everyone's tired of it. And this past few weeks has shown that the nation is ready to grow. And when the government When authority says no, we're not growing, the people won't have it, and we're gonna grow. Once we have won this battle, and we will win this battle, then we can talk about Bruce Lee's being one family. Sorry for going to such a serious spot there while talking about a Bruce Lee 30 for 30, but I'm also not sorry, because it needs to be talked about everywhere. It's weird to say, tell me your thoughts down below. What do you think of the Bruce Lee 30 for 30? What was your favorite part of it? What's your favorite Bruce Lee movie? What was your favorite Bruce Lee friend? Dana DeSanto, Chuck Norris, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? It's all cool. They're all great. One of his students was named Jesse Glover. That's actually this exact same name as one of my brothers. So that's always interesting. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also, Martial Arts Film Freak. Martial Arts Film Freak is also now a Facebook page. So head over to Facebook and like my page. I'll leave a link in the information down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. I've got to go to work.